The 2023 PLL season has been filled with close games, making it almost impossible to predict who will win a matchup. On top of that, nearly all of the teams make the playoffs, giving even the worst regular season teams a chance to win the championship. This makes predicting a champion harder than any other sport, but I'm confident enough to say that I know the Redwoods will win the 2023 championship. A team with only 4 All-Stars and not a single one of those being a long pole. Yet I would say they have one of the best defenses in the league. Every piece of their team fits perfectly together, and it makes you feel like you're watching a real team rather than a bunch of all-stars trying to do their own thing. Before I go into what makes the Redwoods the best, I first want to talk about the Atlas. They were my pick to win the championship before the season started, and I still believe they have the best team on paper. Their defense checks every box you'd ask for, with the 2 best poles in the draft and the veteran Tucker Durkin leading the way. Along with an offense full of stars like Brian Costabile and Jeff Teat, this team should be dominating. You can chalk it up to goalie struggles or that the face-off isn't as valuable anymore, but I think it's a chemistry issue. Everyone is a star, and the defense hasn't been playing well as a unit. This is where the Redwoods dominate in comparison to the Atlas. Let's start with the Redwoods defense that somehow had 0 all-star selections except for Nakai Montgomery. Garrett Epple, John Sexton, Eddie Glazner, and Arden Cohen all went to Notre Dame, making their chemistry on paper the best in the league. Having all developed in the same system in college, they all took on the same team defense principles. The outlier has been Owen Grant and Ryan Kennedy, who have been trading off for a place in the lineup, with Ryan Kennedy taking the edge. The D3 product out of York College has been showing why he deserves to be in the league with plays like this.
Momentum is flowing in the Redwoods' favor here.
Everything's working for him. Transition opportunity
there you
into
go.
the pole goal. It's Ryan Kennedy, the pride of York College. Makes it 8-2 Woods.
I want to start with Garrett Epple, who has been a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year nearly every season of the PLL. He plays extremely patient and uses a barrage of checks to contain his man. Let's look at a matchup against Matt Rambo, one of the best tackmen in the league. Coming from X, Rambo attacks Epple with a pick from behind. What Epple does well is moving back until he's level with the pick. Since Rambo can't physically score from behind, Epple doesn't have to be on his hands, so he can deal with navigating the pick first. He then cuts the angle by running through the crease and also puts Rambo in a light V-hold before he crosses the goal line extended, making him uncomfortable. What I really like about this matchup though is how patient Epple is. He just sits on Rambo's hands knowing that he can't get a shot off. He's constantly in a slight trail position ready for whatever rollback Rambo throws. Defensively, an extremely underrated player is John Sexton. The 2-time All-American LSM out of Notre Dame is dominant in one-on-one matchups and pesters the hands of attackmen. This clip shows how he gets in his matchup's hands and forces bad passes. Sexton is on Zed Williams, and you can pretty easily tell that from Zed's body language he wants to pass. Based off that, Sexton throws a barrage of pokes and slap checks. Sexton knows that he won't get a takeaway, but he wants Zed to get frustrated and throw a bad pass. The constant checks forces Zed to backpedal and throw an underhand pass through the defense, which ends up not making it. In my mind, this is a cause turnover for Sexton. Let's take a break from defense and quickly talk about this Redwoods offense. At attack, we have Rob Pennell, Ryder Garnsey, and Wes Berg. This trio couldn't complement each other any better. Ryder Garnsey in 2023 has 21 points in 4 games, leading the PLL. There's been no answer for him the entire season, and the most ridiculous part is how he's scoring these goals. Goals like this shouldn't be possible. And while most people chalk him up just to be a goal scorer, he's had some insane assists this season like this. Speaking on assisted goals, the Canadian Wes Berg has the best hands in the league and leads the league in points per touch at 20%. You arm a guy like Wes Berg with one of the best players ever in Rob Pennell, who's also one of the best feeders in the game, you have a deadly duo. At 33, Rob Pennell is showing no signs of slowing down and is playing some of the best lacrosse ever. The quarterback at X is a dual threat with his creativity to score and his ability to draw doubles and feed. This attack lineup has every piece of the puzzle and produces huge numbers. In the past, the midfield has been the star of the Redwoods team with Miles Jones and Sergio Perkovic, but they've been a little quieter this year. If these two can get going again this season, which I fully believe they will, this offense will be the best in the league with a dual threat from the 2-point arc, the domination of Ryder Garnsey on the wings, plus Rob Pennell dictating the game from the X. It will be deadly. I haven't even mentioned Jules Henningberg, who has moved up to midfield and is having a productive season. The possibilities are endless when he inverts to X with a short stick D midi. Just look at this clip. Henningberg has the short stick D mid at X and cooks him. Once Henningberg chooses a side, Pennell is on crease, mirrors him, making the slide late and heading Burgos to the cage. Let's go back to defense, but I first want to talk about how PLL defense tend to be all one-on-one matchups, cutting slides out of the equation. This is generally because of the high skill level of the defenders, but it's also because the players are so good at feeding on the offensive end. This makes the PLL feel like a bunch of hero ball at times, but the Redwoods are different. Their team defense is so much fun to watch and extremely effective. Let's look at a couple examples. Here Glazner starts in a one-on-one matchup and goes over the head, prompting the rollback. After he misses the check, Montgomery immediately slides, forcing a rollback and a pass. Owen Grant then slides up to help, and he and Allen stay on the double, causing Dordovic to run around and try to get free. What's important to watch is how Owen Grant recovers back to the inside after the double, and then is in the lane for the skip pass, which he's able to pick off. The moral is, after all these slides and help defense, the shot clock got completely burned, forcing the Whipsnakes to force a bad pass and a turnover. If PLL defenses can burn shot clocks, more mistakes are going to be made in those last few seconds. Let's look at another example of this Redwood defense taking advantage of the shot clock. Isaiah Davis-Allen gets dodged on with 7 seconds on the shot clock and forces his man down the alley, only for him to roll up at the end. Tevlin knows there's a little time on the shot clock, so he goes early on the slide to slow the ball carrier down just for a couple seconds until the shot clock goes off. A takeaway is just as valuable as a shot clock turnover, and that's not talked about enough in this league. I haven't even mentioned the Team USA faceoff man, T.D. Erlin, who's been dominating this season, but I've proved my point on why the Redwoods are the best team in the league and why they'll win a championship.